even though the market's a bit wobbly at the moment, I'm very encouraged that there are sort of fundamental factors coming into play that should mean we have a strong end to the year and we go into 25 on a much more mature and secure footing.
Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Tony Edward, and with me today is Simon McLoughlin, who's the CEO of Uphold. Simon, great to see you.
Great to see you, Tony. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, Simon, Uphold has a new product called USD Interest Accounts, which is really exciting and a product that I'm going to be using, parking some of my crypto bull market profits. And I want to get all the details from you because this is really groundbreaking. I haven't seen any other crypto platform offer something like this. So tell us about what inspired the launch of this product.
Sure. Well, we survey our customers regularly, and the number one request is yield. And our customers hold 5 times more dry powder in US dollars than they do in stable coins. And crypto platforms don't serve customers very well when they're holding USD. And USD on crypto platforms is typically held in banks. So someone is earning the interest. It's either the bank or the platform, but it's very rarely passed across to customers. So we've decided to pass along what we believe are industry best rates to our customers in an account that's also FDIC insured up to 10 times the normal limit. So each account has participating funds insured up to $2.5 million instead of $250,000. But the real driver here is we just want our customers to be able to hold their dry powder in a super secure, fully insured vehicle that pays a high rate of interest. And I know you hear a lot of superlatives in this space, but we believe this is the best offer on USD holdings by a crypto platform. So we're pretty excited about it.
And give me some rope here, because here's how I picture it, or my strategy, so to speak. I would use it to earn interest on some of my dry powder. So let's say I'm waiting for dips in the market. I can just move some cash onto Uphold, have it earn interest. But also when I take profits, I can just put it into that account and earn the interest. And my money keeps working for me, right? So I've taken my profits, so I've made some money, but then I can continue earning on top of that. Is that kind of a strategy that folks can use?
That's exactly it, because it's a seamless account integrated into the Uphold app. So if you want to sell out your crypto profits, you hold them in dollars on the platform in an account that's got this enhanced FDIC insurance, and you're earning on balances over $1,000, it's 5%. And on balances from $1 to $999, it's 2%. So it takes away the need to withdraw funds to your bank, and moving funds backwards and forwards to a bank account. Depends how you withdraw, but sometimes it can incur fees. So it's just a cheaper, more convenient way of holding dollars on your crypto trading platform and enjoying, yields you can't get from typical banks. I think in particular, I'd draw attention to the 2% on any balance from $1 to $999. I'll give you one example. If you hold that kind of balance at Robinhood, I think you earn 50 basis points. We're offering 4 times that. And this is a yield that's derived from a brokerage account, so there's a really secure source to the yield. And it's not sitting behind a subscription wall. A lot of the other platforms, when you look at them, to get access to the top rate of interest, you either have to pay a subscription or you have to deposit a regular amount of around $5,000 a month.
Right.
This is, on our platform, you can withdraw the money anytime. It settles instantly. There's no lockup period. There's no subscription. And as I say, from the very first dollar, you're earning 2%. You're earning 2% right up to $999 and 5% above 1,000. So we just feel as though this is a really fair way of encouraging people to hold dollars on the platform. And there's no more secure or rewarding way of holding dollars on a crypto platform. So we think it's a very important innovation that takes away the need to keep shuffling money backwards and forwards from your bank account.
Yeah, I love it. And it's one of those solutions that, I've often thought about, why can't I have all these things in one place? And you guys are obviously doing that. So that's really great. I don't have to move it over to some account with a like you said, some other brokerage firm and so forth. I can do it all in the Uphold app. And you mentioned there's no fees and there's no lockup terms, right? Is that correct?
Yep, there are no fees and there are no lockup terms, and there's also no settlement delay. Traditionally, when you put funds into a brokerage account, there's a 24 or 48 hour delay for the funds to settle. These funds settle instantly, so it's a totally seamless experience. You can move money into the USD interest account and earn interest straight away, or you can sell your crypto position, take some profit, stick it into this account, move it the other way. You can go straight from the USD interest account straight into Bitcoin. You don't even have to go through dollars in the middle. It's all done behind the scenes. So it's a really great way of funding crypto trades with dry powder that's earning a yield, and also just taking your profits and holding them on the platform.
Yeah, that's amazing. And tell us a bit more about the FDIC insurance. How are you able to get it to that level? Because I know the typical is like $250,000, right? It's like what happens at your local bank, but
Yep.
you have a very high amount of coverage.
Yeah, so I mean, the service is through a program called the Intrabank Sweep Program, which is very technical and jargony. What it means is that when you put funds into your USD interest account, they go to Atomic Brokerage, a US broker dealer, and then those funds are split into $250,000 chunks and distributed across 10 participating banks. And because the funds are automatically split into $250,000 chunks, you enjoy FDIC insurance from each of the participating banks. So the yield is actually generated by short-term loans to banks. And there are some very well-known banks in this group, incidentally. And the banks use it because these kind of deposits can be reported as deposits and not borrowing on their balance sheets. So they're willing to pay a high yield.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. And is this service available globally or in just certain markets?
Initially, we're launching it just to US residents. It launches this week, so this is a very early conversation about it. It's got off to a great start, but we very much would like to extend it to certain parts of Latin America, and even in Europe, we've got demand for it. People, hold dollars in Europe, and earning a good yield on those holdings is very attractive. So, like everything we do, the goal is to passport it across to other parts of the world. And you can imagine, the desire for hard currency in certain countries in Latin America, and you're earning such a high yield in an insured vehicle is a very attractive option for a lot of our customers out there.
Absolutely. I don't know if it makes sense, but because the US dollar is the world reserve currency, but are there plans to go to other currencies like the euro and so forth?
There are, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we're working on in the UK and we'll be introducing later this year is we'll be embedding. Actually, this is an exclusive. I'm telling you something I probably shouldn't, but we're about to embed a bank account into the app, which will give us the best fiat to crypto on ramp, and that will encompass a yield. We're going to offer I think it's 4.5% on the pound, and that account will have full payment capability. So again, bringing together the best of traditional rails and the best of new rails in one app. So you can deposit your salary into an insured bank account. You can pay your bills. You can set up direct debit. You can set up standing orders. So this integration of traditional banking and the best services from blockchain is a very big theme to the Uphold story. I mean, our vision is very much we're building a crypto-enabled neobank that brings together services, that are offered on the best of old and the best of new rails, and opening up access to them. At this minimum, this limit of $1 until you earn 2% is a very important sort of criteria for us, because we want to open up access to these services to anybody. And we don't want to hide them behind a high paywall or a high deposit amount. We're opening up access to a much wider population of participants.
Simon, you touch on some points that I was going to follow up and asked about. Are you building a neobank? And this seems like it will really help a lot of people have financial inclusion who, they have to, right now they may be feeling some friction with certain thresholds, with certain banks and things not working for them. But Uphold is making it easy. Plus, you're including new assets and payment rails like crypto, which is pretty amazing.
We are. So, we're planning to add US equities to the platform early next year. That's being built at the moment. So, you'll be able to access a lot of traditional asset classes in tokenized form. And you'll also be able to do cross-border payments on the platform. And there's remittance capability coming in. A lot of services have come together over the past few months that mean, we really are making progress now on building a crypto-enabled neobank that makes payments, earning a yield, and ultimately we want to do lending as well. Part of our plan. But this USD interest account is a very, very important foundational element, because everybody holds their dry powder in the US in dollars. It's generally not in stable coins. Why would you hold it in stable coins? It's not insured. In some cases, you don't know how secure they are. So USD is where the dry powder is held. And this means that this new product means Uphold is the best way you can hold dollars on a crypto platform.
Yeah, I love it. It's such I think a big need for that. And like I said earlier, I've been looking for something, I guess, where it's simple. I'm not, moving funds, wiring funds here and there back and forth, but I can simply cash out, leave it in there, have it earn a high yield, higher than what you would get in a normal checking or savings account, which is next to nothing these days. And be able to make my life simpler, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And how the yield is being generated. You often see very high yields in crypto and you never really know how the yield, or in some cases you don't know how the yield is being generated. Here it's from a very well-established bank cash sweep program. So, it's been going for years. It's just not been made generally available.
So do you think that this is the future where you're going to have, the traditional banks? I'm not saying they're all going to go away, but maybe the smaller ones are. And these neobanks are going to be more of the business model, so to speak. And you guys seem to be ahead of the curve here.
I think look, I just see blockchains as fundamentally the new financial infrastructure that will be adopted over time. The introduction of clear regulations now in UK, Europe, Singapore, Hong Kong, it's all going to accelerate that adoption, I think. And I think there's a huge opportunity for apps like ours to bring together the best of traditional and blockchain rail services in one app. And when you think about the major categories, it's traditional banking, it's lending, it's payments, it's yield, and it's custody.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk a bit about the market at large. I would love to get your thoughts on, where we're at in the cycle with the crypto market. I know September, usually it's a bad month for markets, but what's your outlook come Q4 as we head into 2025?
Well, I don't do predictions. I don't know the future. But what I would say is, there's some. It's a very interesting time. It should be a very interesting quarter. I'll call out a couple of things. So if you look at Bitcoin, there are 200,000 December call options. And there are 100,000 put options out in the market at the moment. The biggest tranche of those call options is at $90,000. So, our traders and traders in the market in general, the majority of them think the rally is going to resume at some point. The second thing I'd call out is that there's way better mood music from US regulators. Both political parties are now saying the right things with regard to crypto. And I think post-election there's a good chance that there'll be a sea change in climate in the United States, where there's a recognition that the technology is here to stay. There is an absolute need to bring in clear rules to foster innovation and attract entrepreneurs and capital. And I think that just will be potentially a sea change where we'll go from experimental sandbox to actually large adoption of the technology. That would be my hope anyway. And I think the other interesting thing that's happening is, Bitcoin is so dominant as the category defining asset. And it's arguably still lacking a clear utility. But I think there's a lot going on in the Bitcoin space at the moment that suggests that search for utility is going to have a happy ending. Without getting too nerdy and technical, the opcat structure, a very simple piece of code that allows strings of logic to be built on Bitcoin, that really is stirring up a lot of developer activity. We're seeing far more developers building on top of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin, really finds that use case as the most secure and proven blockchain, I think that's really good for the whole space. And I think the last thing I'd say is, there are many signs that we're past the sandbox stage. There's much more cooperation in the industry now, much more focus on projects working together to build a multi-chain environment that I think is absolutely key for certain concepts and technologies to really find adoption. To give one example, NFTs. I was reading a piece the other day that says that 96% of NFTs are now showing no activity, and it's because of two things in my view. Number one, there's a lack of clear rules that allow an NFT to represent a financial obligation in law. And secondly, the concept that your NFT representing a financial obligation can only live on one chain, and if that chain were to collapse, your financial obligation would be null and void. Clearly that doesn't work.
Right.
But in a multi-chain environment, I think NFTs, together with this clear regulation, become super interesting as representative of financial obligations. So I guess to summarize, even though the market's a bit wobbly at the moment, I'm very encouraged that there are sort of fundamental factors coming into play that should mean we have a strong end to the year and we go into 25 on a much more mature and secure footing.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of NFTs, is Uphold planning to do anything on that front or not?
We're still working out our strategy. The answer is yes. Exactly what we're figuring out. We very much want users to be able to sign for certain transactions themselves. As you know, we've launched Vault, which provides a self-custodial option that's fully embedded into the app, if that's not a contradiction in terms. But your assets are held in a self-custodial wallet. You hold two keys, we hold one key. And if you lose one of your keys, you can put our key together with your remaining key to create a new key. That could be a platform whereby we offer a range of entry points into DeFi, and signing NFTs could be one of them.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Is there anything else on your the remainder of your roadmap for 2024 you want to highlight?
I guess I'd highlight there's quite a few announcements coming. We're going to be doing some really interesting things with stablecoins. in October. So expect some announcements, and I hope to talk to you again at the end of October. I mustn't tell you now because that will spoil the surprise, but we've got something really interesting coming. And we're adding a ton of connectivity. You know, traditionally we've only had bank connectivity in, I think up to the end of August, we had bank connectivity in 28 countries, principally Europe, US, UK. But after September 9th, we have bank connectivity in around about 154 countries through the Visa OCT network, which will allow customers in many countries to withdraw funds to their bank account via Visa debit card rails, or withdraw funds to prepaid debit cards. You know, for customers in many parts of the world who've only been able to deposit using cards, but then could only withdraw to blockchain, this is a really transformational change in the utility of an Uphold account.
Simon, I love what you guys are doing. I love these products, and I can't wait to start depositing into the USD interest account and start earning some really great yield. So thank you so much for joining me. And I definitely want to have you back on next month as you guys launch the new updates around stablecoins and so forth.
It's a pleasure, Tony. Thanks for making time.